Hello Portal Masters, welcome back to this series. Is this Skylander as good as everyone says it is? Now obviously today we're going to be taking a look at Bash. I mean, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, Bash is going to be under the radar. But before this video begins, I want to make one thing very clear. Throughout every single video when I look at Skylander, I look at it with integrity and I always make sure that my opinions are unbiased and fair. And obviously, as a lot of you guys know, Crash the Skylanders is a good close friend of mine, and obviously I know this is his favourite Skylander. However, I'm not going to let that dictate my opinions on Bash. Just as Crash hates Prison Break, I may potentially not like Bash as much as other Skylanders, or I may absolutely love him, so all my opinions are subject to my own dictation on this video. I just want to clear that up because obviously I'm not going to be biased towards the Skylander because one of my friends like them. In fact, if anything, it would probably be the opposite, just to rage bait him. With that being said, enjoy the video. Right off the bat, I've got to say, Bash is probably one of the strongest damage output Skylanders out there in terms of Spyro's Adventure characters. I mean, his tail alone is doing around 80 damage, and that's because he's on his path that favours his tail. Seriously, this guy can mow down enemies quickly, and because of how he does it, he does a full 360. It makes it quite easy to eliminate enemies that are surrounding you, basically. However, this also does have a negative. Skylanders has a thing called a power balance. Basically, if your Skylander's strong, there's also a hindrance. For example, think of Trigger Happy. His rapid fire is really good for dealing with enemies, but he has the lowest health. For Bash, his attack is very strong, but it causes him to stand still when doing it. This means if you're surrounded by ranged attackers, you'll have a bit of an issue where they will easily be able to hit you and potentially cancel out your attack while you're trying to do it. Especially if you try and charge your attack for a devastating blow, which, bear in mind, will probably one-hit KO most enemies, but at the same time, the risk is if you get attacked, it cancels it. Bash is one of these risk it and rewarded things. Basically, if you're willing to risk it and try and do it, and it succeeds, you get a good reward out of it. If you don't, you get a lot of health taken off you. That's my biggest issue with Bash. He's not an easy pick up and play Skylander. You've got to try and think about where enemies are, what enemies you're around, and can you attack there and then. Thankfully, Bash does come with something else. He comes with a roll, and the roll is absolutely great when it comes to just quickly getting out of a situation, and he deals 20 damage a pop when he rolls round. Of course, it's not the best. I mean, he's not really fast. He's not as fast as Stealth Elf, but he's not slow, so I'd say he's kind of like an intermediate. You know, it's not the worst, it's not the best. But for as far as traversals go, it's great damage output. His third attack allows him to bring up a fist that he can then smack with his tail. Now, my issue with this is it's slow to bring up the fist, and it's also slow to attack the fist, but it does create a ranged projectile, which isn't too bad. It also does some pretty neat damage, so I can't really complain too much, but it is a bit too slow. That's the biggest issue I'm already raising with Bash. Bash, when it comes to attacking, is extremely slow, and 9 times out of 10 you're in risk when you're trying to attack. However, you can almost forgive this because of how powerful Bash actually is when he does hit an attack. I mean, 80 odd damage in one go is incredible, especially for Spyro's Adventure. As for my final verdict, I'm going to say Bash isn't as good as everyone says, but he's close. A lot of people make Bash out like he's almost like a perfect Skylander. However, there are some points that are negative with him being too slow in some respects and the fact that he's open to damage. However, I will say Bash is still a fantastic Skylander and really fun to play as. I had enjoyment playing as Bash for this video. Him being slow to attack and getting damage is a bit of an annoyance for me. However, I know a lot of people don't really mind that, and so that's why I'm kind of, you know, dismissing it as, you know, you could potentially look past that if you look at the damage output, which is extremely high. I also want to clear up, when I say that an attack gets cancelled, what I mean is basically instead of doing your 200 plus damage, it will just do the normal 80 damage if you get attacked while having it happen. So even when it's cancelled, it still does decent damage, so I can't complain too much in that respect. So yeah, that is my final verdict. No, Bash isn't as good as everyone says, but he's very close to being. It's just a couple minor issues that I think maybe makes him a bit too overrated, for where people kind of ignore those issues, but they are still issues nonetheless. I'd say he's a very good Skylander, close to perfect, but just not close enough. And with that being said, I think I can hear Crash the Skylanders calling to end our friendship here and there. At the end of the day though, this is all just my opinion, and my opinion technically does not matter in respect of how you guys enjoy Bash. So please let me know, what do you guys think of Bash? Do you love him? Do you hate him? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's underrated? Let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Portal Pulse out.